Hello dreamers, my name's Lisa and I'm the Dreamwork coach. Do you guys remember the Dream O Matic on the Jetsons? Like I have never forgotten about this because even as a kid when I saw this episode, I was like, oh my God, like how cool would it be if you could choose what you were dreaming?
What would you like to dream about tonight, ElRoy? Jungle Hunter, Super Sports Star, or Rocket Ranger? Rocket Ranger. Sleep tight, ElRoy.
Good evening, Rocket Ranger. Tonight, your mission is to battle the gas blobs of Beta 3.
So ElRoy falls asleep and he goes off on this pre-planned dream adventure. Like how cool. As a kid, I was like blown away. Like I still remember it to this day. So when I learned about Dream Incubation, which is what we're talking about today in this video, I was like, oh my God, it's just like the Dream O Matic. All my dreams are coming true. It's amazing. The Jetsons took place in 2062. But I'm here to tell you that the future is now because your Dream O Matic has arrived. It's called Dream Incubation, and it's actually a really simple process. And I'm sure that people have been able to do this like forever. So your dream machine has actually been with you all along, Padawan. And actually it's better than the one in the Jetsons because ElRoy only had like 10 options to choose from, and your options are limitless. I can tell you firsthand, this works. Like it works. Not quite to the extent, obviously, of like having a totally pre-planned adventure. But if you put intentions out to ask questions in your dreams, you can get really good information back from those dreams. I've been doing it with this channel. Like it's how I'm planning how this channel is gonna go, and it's working. So I'm gonna share some of that with you too here pretty soon. The way that Dream Incubation works is that you set an intention before bed to have a certain type of dream or to get guidance on something. Like, so for example, you could say, give me guidance on how to best deal with this situation with whoever or whatever. I have asked recently for, like, show me how I can best collaborate with this certain person. You could say, like, show me how to heal my tendinitis. Or give me an idea on how I can handle this dispute with such and such. Show me my spirit guides. I also like to add at the end of mine, when I'm writing out my intentions, to make it obvious and make it fun. Because boy, can dreams be cryptic, and who doesn't want to add a little fun into everything? So I find it does help. Like I can get some really obvious answers when I ask them to be obvious. Otherwise it's like, what? Like this has nothing to do with what I asked about. Holy crap. One way that you can do this is to write your intention down on a piece of paper and put it under your pillow when you go to bed. Some people use a little notebook for this and it works pretty well. I take out the other pages. I don't know if it matters, but I feel like having all those intentions in one place under my pillow at the same time might make my dreams confusing. Like I might be picking up things from before. I could just be making this up, but it's what I think. So I rip out the pages as I use them, and I don't I don't want to muddy the waters, you know. You can also just say or think your intentions as you're drifting off to sleep. I do this sometimes when I don't really feel like writing something down, or like I've already laid down and I'm already in a perfect position and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do this. I don't want to move. I'll just think it. And it works beautifully. I did it last night and it worked wonderfully. I'm actually going to share that story in another video coming up soon about how I'm using dreams to craft this channel. And that's really it. That's really all there is to it. I mean, like winding down before bed is helpful, and like getting into that, you know, peaceful sleep space is helpful. But like once you're finally tucked in and getting ready to go to bed and you're laying there about to drift off, make sure you're setting that intention about what it is you want to dream or what kind of guidance you want to get from your dreams. And that's really it. Then go to sleep and start paying attention to what shows up. You really want to pay attention as you're just drifting off to sleep. That space between awake and asleep is called the hypnagogic state, and it's like this place between worlds where all this magic can happen. And sometimes you get the most vivid imagery there, and for me, I get a lot of the most obvious imagery there. Like, it actually might not seem obvious at the time, so sometimes I'll sit up if it seems important and I'll jot it down, like if something's super vivid, and then I'll go back to sleep. But this is where I really get a lot of insight, is in that hypnagogic state. So make sure you're paying attention right as you're drifting off and you're starting to get those like crazy images popping up that usually make zero sense at the time. Pay attention to those. Those are a big key, especially if you're doing some sort of a dream incubation and your mind is fresh with this thought that you're having. I had one of these just a couple nights ago where I was dreaming on something about the channel. So a lot, I mean, that's just all I'm dreaming about lately because I'm just getting started and it's really fresh on my mind. And I got the image of a dinosaur in a museum. Like, you know how usually you see dinosaur bones, like a T-Rex in a museum, except for in my image that popped up, it was a robot. It was like this shiny metal robot with like red laser eyes, like super futuristic and just super cool looking, but way out of place. I'm like, what is this trying to tell me? This is whatever. So I wrote it down, and then the next day it was like plainly obvious to me when I looked at it in the context of what I had asked my dreams for. And I interpreted it as the new taking over the old ways of doing things. So like for me, technology and all this futuristic stuff, that's the world we live in now. That's social media, that's YouTube, that's this camera and this microphone and these lights. Like that's the technology coming in. And it's striking to me that like in this time, we live on Earth in a time where this is really the first time we have this opportunity to use technology to bring Dreamwork into the present. You know, like get everyone caught up with us. Let's take it from here and we'll move it all into the future, you know, with all of this technology. So that one snippet of that robot dinosaur in a museum actually was illuminating to me. It let me know that I am on the right path and I should be using technology to reach people, and that's totally fine. You know, it's kind of funny, and I'm thinking right now that someday that will be in a museum. Well, maybe not shaped like a dinosaur, but someday there will be shiny futuristic robots that we haven't even seen yet in museums. Because like the world will, if the world keeps going on, which hopefully it does, like that will seem ancient someday. But the only time is now, right? Let's focus on now. So you've dream incubated and you went to bed and you've paid attention to those images that pop right up, and then you fall into the dream state and you have your dreams, right? Your normal nighttime dreams. So then when you wake up, make sure you do your Dreamwork steps that we've gone over before. Make sure you're bullet pointing everything you can remember right off the bat. Make sure then you write out your whole dream, give it a title, pay attention to how you were feeling when you woke up, and do a reality check to see if there's anything in that dream that could be actually happening or could happen in the future. And start to work out how the dream is relating to your intention. The intention's great because it gives you a framework in which to interpret your dream. Instead of just being like, wow, what does that mean, with nothing, no baseline to go off of, that intention gives you a baseline to be like, what does it mean in relation to this? And that makes the whole process of figuring out what a dream means like so much easier. Okay, so like I said a few times now, I'm letting my Dreamwork guide this channel, and I'm gonna share with you an example of that right now. The thing that I wrote down, the incubation that I wrote down was, tell me how I can reach the right dream students now and make it obvious and make it fun. I always throw that part in there. But I was wanting to know how I can reach the right people now, like instead of, you know, a year from now. Like, what's the best thing I can do right now? So in the dream, I was in this stadium full of people, and I wandered into a bar where I saw all these people eating ice cream sundaes. Someone had a strawberry sundae that looked like super good, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get one of those. So I walked up to the bar and I ordered the sundae. And the bartender asked me if I wanted a bucket of banana chips with ketchup to go with it. And I was like, that sounds like weird, but I'm looking around and everyone's enjoying it, this unusual flavor combination. And I was like, sure, why not? Go ahead and give me those two. So while I was waiting for him to like make my sundae, I sat down at the bar. And then I looked down below me and I noticed that I'm like 3 stories high. Like there's no floor in this bar, and the bar stool legs are literally like 3 stories high. And we're at the stadium, and so like I'm outside, so the legs are like touching the street level. There's like a parking lot down there. And I look down to street level from where I'm sitting way up here, and I see an old friend of mine. So I jump down to street level with him, and I'm talking to him for just a few minutes. And then I come back to the bar, which is no longer way up high. Now it's at street level too, and all the people are gone. And my sundae's gone, and the bartender's like, I had to charge you for your food because you were gone so long. Like I'd been gone so long. I was only gone like a couple minutes. I was like, what's going on? So that's the dream. When I woke up, I felt a little bit disappointed. Like I didn't get to eat my sundae. I didn't get to like hang out at the high bar. It was the coolest bar, but now it's not up high anymore. So, and the reality check for this is that I'm starting a YouTube channel. And I also had my Dream Incubation to go on with this. So in the context of what I asked for, I interpreted this as setting a bar high, because I was literally at a high bar. So I came up with the meaning that I got out of the dream is that if I set the bar high, the people stay, and we get to have fun and eat sundaes. So keep making high value content, post regularly, keep the bar high, set the bar high. So I'm trying to do that with this channel. I mean, I'm new to this, so I'm working out some kinks as I go, but I want to set the bar high and keep the people here. You know, bring more people in, let's have more fun, let's eat more sundaes. The other takeaway I get is that combining unusual flavors can be popular. Everyone liked the banana chips with ketchup mixed with their sundaes. So I take this away as like unusual topics, unusual mixes of topics, or unusual mixes of bringing in other dream teachers that are not like me. And I mean, that's kind of the point, is I want to show you guys all of the options for Dreamwork. So bringing in other people who are nothing like me, that you might think, well, that's a really weird mix, but maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I think that could be a great thing. So I'm actually going to do that because of what I got out of this dream. And I couldn't help but notice the bar lowered super fast when I wasn't even gone that long. So that's what I'm picking up with the regular. I need to keep with it regularly and don't let it slip away and come back and find out it's fallen and end up having to pay for ice cream I didn't get to eat. And then the final thing that I got out of this that other people helped me see in this, which I wasn't even seeing this, so this is where like group Dreamwork can be helpful. Other people let me see that I need to reward myself with the sundae. I need to stay and eat the sundae. Don't get distracted and jump back down to street level. Stay and eat the sundae. Enjoy it. Set the bar high and enjoy it. Eat the sundae. And then to pair with this, when I woke up the next morning, I did this thing that Robert Moss calls bibliomancy, and it's in his book Sidewalk Oracles, which I talked about in a different video. It's a really fun book, and I'll link again to it below. Bibliomancy is just when you flip through a book and pause, like put your finger on whatever, like just random phrase, and read that phrase and get what you can out of it. And it's crazy how well this works. Every time I've tried to do this, it just works so well. So I did this with the book too. And the phrase that I landed on, the book I used was The Magical Path by Marc Allen, who is like one of my other favorite people. Like, I just love what he does. He talks about succeeding while being lazy. And that's like my hero, like right there, hands down. He's a kindred spirit of mine for sure. He just doesn't know that yet. So I flipped through Marc Allen's book called The Magical Path, and the phrase that popped up was, I don't work for money anymore. I do what I love, and there is always plenty of money. This is what I believe, and this is what has come true in my life. I mean, what a perfect thing I needed to hear at the time. And my takeaway from that is, do what I love, and the rest will fall in place. I mean, I love it. I love it. I love just letting the universe and my dreams guide everything. Like it just makes things so much easier and rewarding. Like this is great. I'm loving this. So that pretty much sums up Dream Incubation. There's really not a whole lot more to it. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, happy dreaming.